Live. Hello, Morteza, again. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having
Uh,
me.
yeah, fantastic. So today we are getting into the Unreal Engine practical items. We have seen last time the first, I would say, practical modeling part with landscaping. We have seen step by step on the trees, I remember, and modeling on directly on Unreal Engine directly there. So, is there something else that I'm not recollecting that would be interesting to bring from last time, Morteza?
Uh, no, it was actually a total explanation of what Unreal Engine is and what you can do with it. Some kind of basic stuff. Today is the real deal. Today is when we are going to talk more about in depth in lighting stuff and more material
Hi,
stuff.
a few people asked for a video walkthrough of this tool for importing 3D meshes from Google Maps to
Oops,
Blender because the process is not
just a
so
second.
straightforward. Before starting,
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. I have had another video starting in the background. Let's continue then.
Okay. So now we are going to start our day two. So let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Morteza Amadi joined.
Okay. Just a moment. Okay. Yep. Okay. Shown stream. Yes, this is yours. Oh, there was last time we were here.
Exactly. So we're just gonna continue where we left off. So this is the call distance that I was talking about. We're not gonna talk about that here. Actually, if the last time we were talking about foliages, and if you just go to Google and type foliages in UE4, there are plenty of tutorials from Epic Games side. So
Hmm.
if you want to go more in depth, you can go through them all. But we don't
Okay.
have that much time. So today, what we're going to do is that first of all, today we're going to add a character, add something. This is what we call it. The character is the thing that we're going to use to
Yeah.
move around with it, to interact with objects. So that's what we call character. So today we're going to add a character. We're going to add some materials to the scene. Um, we're going to teach you a little about materials, about how to use HDRI in UE4.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, we're going to show you how we can add some more meshes to the engine using Bridge and Marketplace. We're going to show you a little bit about more about landscapes and landscape materials. And after that, we're going to show you a little bit of the blueprint stuff and how you can interact with objects a little bit more. So let's start. So first of all, what I'm going to do for right now, if you have all the options here. If you hit play, um, you have no character in here. If you can fly, that means that you definitely have no character. So you will have to add one.
Hmm.
So I hit
Okay.
escape. So the way I
So
wanted
if
to,
you can fly, you don't have any character.
yeah, you can fly. That's like the default control in Unreal Engine.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah. So the way we do that is I'm not gonna make it really complicated. So I'm just gonna go through the easy way, which is just
Yeah.
come here to add import, and there are a lot of feature and content packs which you can use from.
Hmm.
And there are some pre-made characters, pre-made blueprints. They have both
Hmm.
C++ and blueprint features. We
Yeah.
are just going to use blueprint. So today, I'm gonna stick with where was it? third person character. So first person character, first person means that I'm sure you're familiar with it, but in case I'm gonna have to explain it. First person character means that the camera
Sorry.
is here and it's showing what the character is seeing. The
Mm-hmm.
third person, it means that the camera is behind the character, so you will see both the character and the world around the character. So we're
Okay.
going to stick with the third person character and then add to project, and then here we go, we have it here right now. But if you hit play, nothing happens, everything's the same. So you have to set very specifically you want to use this character. So in that case, again, I'm not going to go into very depth, so I'm not going to explain this all. You can always Google them and you can find a lot of articles and tutorials about how to do them, how to make them from scratch actually. So right now we have a world settings here, which is set to none. So if we just set our world game mode override to this here, third person game mode, let's just third. Actually, we have two. Okay, which one was it? Person blueprints. Yeah, this is it. Actually, I guess this will work now. Yeah. So we have a character, but
Okay.
this is a
Is
collision problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there is a Z level 0, and our building is up something more than this Z level 0, I guess.
Yeah, this is actually a problem called collision, which I will have to explain a lot about it today. So you will have to
Mhm,
understand it, because
mhm.
everything we do in architecture visualization relates to collisions and stuff. So yeah, right now we were successful. We are having a character here. Let me show you the all the blueprints and stuff. So if you just go to the, so you set the game mode here, but we are using, if you just go through the details in the game mode, the default pawn class is set to a third person character. So pawn is, it's like the default character that you're going to use in
Yeah.
multiplayer games. You can change between so many pawn classes, and you can have a lot of pawn classes and you can change between those.
Bin.
And so the pawn class is third person character, and if we hit browse to asset, it will direct us to the third person character, which is here. So we can double click on it and we can go through it exactly. So let's go to viewport and see how it contains from. This is the mesh itself. So if you want to, let me explain this. This is really important. If you want to create a character from scratch, you will have to right click, go to blueprint class and set and hit actor.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm not actor. I'm sorry.
Okay, so something less robotic, let's say. Something
You
less
can,
robot-like, more tailored to what
yeah,
to.
you can change that inside the blueprint that we've just downloaded. I'm just going to show you what is a character or a pawn.
Mhm, mhm.
So in this case, we're gonna use a character pawn, something different. The only instance that I've seen people use pawn is in virtual reality, the glasses, the Oculus Rift and
Mhm.
HTC Vive glasses. That was the only case that I've seen people use pawn. All the times I'm seeing people use character. So if you just
Okay.
click and create a character, you will have the character which is completely scratch. There's nothing in it, only a mesh which is always needed inside the character. You can have nothing though, but it is there. So anyways, we are having our mesh here. It contains from some arrow component which we don't need right now, a mesh which is very important, and right now this mesh is set to this default mannequin, which is the robotic skeletal
Mhm.
mesh that the Epic Games has provided for us. So you have the option to change it, and it will. I mean, it is very difficult if you're not a 3D designer expert, you will find it really difficult. I mean, really difficult, because there are a lot of things that are happening in here. One is animation class. Let me show you real quick. There are lots of things happening. There are lots of
Behaviors. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
behavior trees, exactly, for the animations. So the animations blend together. The way we use these is because everything's just there. And if you go to the event graph is usually where all the code happens, where all the magic happens, because
Mhm,
you have to code
mhm.
everything. And when you right click on it, as I have shown you in the material section, this is the same. When you right click on it, you have the option to either go through them all to see what's in there, or if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can just type them. For example, get character, blah blah blah.
Okay.
I mean, there
But
are
let's jump this because we are in a crash course and we don't want to get more difficult than it is.
exactly.
One thing that I would say for architectural visualization, I think that without seeing a character, so first person is gonna be more effective
Exactly. So
because this robot kind of breaks the fiction.
yep, if you are an expert in 3D, I mean 3D skeletal rigging, 3D
Mhm,
animations, you have the option to use metahumans, which is I know you're all familiar with it. It was
mhm.
like a huge upgrade in the animation world and in the designing world, character designing world. You can use that, but in this crash course, as you said, we're going to use first person camera. um I was just saying that this is we don't want all the code to be written by us, so this is why we've just downloaded the whole character and we're going to modify it as our needs. So let's just close the animation blueprint. We don't need to mess around with anything other than this viewport right now. So we don't want this to be seen in our scene, so let's just click on it, and there's an option here. uh, if you
Well
just
hidden,
Yeah,
yeah,
hidden in game.
rendering.
Exactly. If you click on visible, it will be invisible in here as well, which we don't want. We want to see the character here, but we want it to be hidden in game. And
Mm,
we want the camera. We can just move the camera further, and it
mm.
will be something like this.
Okay, so that we are exactly where. Okay.
And we can't fly. We don't have the option to fly. It's a real character right now, but we
Mhm,
can't see it because it's hidden in game. Or what I would always do is just go to the follow camera. This actually, the reason that we are using this third
mm,
person character is that because it's having some animations and it's moving. It has kind of some movements, and we can use those movements to animate the camera a little bit, so it can get a little bit more realistic, I would say. So the way to do that is just we don't want this camera boom, so let's just delete it. The camera boom is just a spring arm, which uh, the camera will rotate around the center
yep.
of the spring arm, so it's nothing fancy and we don't really need it in here. And we just uh, left click on this and hold and drag it onto the mesh, so it can be a child of the mesh, so the mesh is the parent. And where it go? And let's
Okay.
exit actually. And we have an option here. If you click on follow camera and come to the sockets, there's a parent socket. So the socket means that
Mm,
the skeletal mesh, all the skeletons, they contain a lot of bones. Let me show you real quick. Character bones, all hierarchy. So these are bones that the character is using to have all
mm,
these animations. So
yeah.
we will want the camera to be sticking to some of these bones. So when the bone is moving, the camera will be moving as well. So it will
Mhm.
show you, like, in a realistic way, that the camera is on the head, and when when the character walks, the camera rotates as well, so it will be
Oh,
us.
okay.
So the way to do that, we want the parent socket, and I always go no the follow camera. We have to set follow camera. I always go with head, which is the most convenient one.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, as you can see,
It's
heads
parallel.
moving. Yeah, and it's moving as well, but it's off. The location and rotation is off, and we have to fix that issue. To do so,
Okay.
the first thing I would do is go to here and uncheck this real time, because right now it's rendering everything in real time, and it's hard, to fix everything because they're all moving all the time, and no, I'm
Okay.
not I'm not that fast. So as I had told you, press E to rotate 90 degrees maybe, and then press W to um,
Okay. Now it's
in-
really on in the head. Okay.
exactly. And this is how the camera will look. So let's see it in the game.
Hmm.
But it's not moving.
Brilliant! Like the trees, they have a kind of animation oscillation due to the wind. It seems.
Exactly. It's their
Wow.
message.
And this is to a
Oh,
parameter, I
okay.
guess.
So there are some other things that I have to fix. So yeah.
Okay.
Um, okay. So you come to the follow camera. This always happens because when you do something, if they work the first time you test them, you are really lucky. So
Hmm.
all the time it's like when you do something new, when you create something, when you change something, it either crashes or there are a lot of bugs in it, so you have to go through and
Okay.
fix it. So in this case it wasn't moving. um, the first thing in this case I would do is go to the follow camera and use uh, palm controller rotation under the camera options. Let's see what happens. Oh, and it's working right now.
Okay. So the head is moving with the mouse, or how it is, or the command you said arrow up, arrow down, left and right.
No, so it's all hard coded in here. So if you don't know how to move around, you just go to the event graph.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, it's more than hard coded. So let's go to the project settings, to the input, and we have axis mappings here. So
Look
uh,
up, look down. Oh,
yeah, these are the things that you can add for yourself. But since we've just added the feature pack to our project, we have it all here. So look up is with mouse Y, which is up and down. Look operate, which is it's for something else. Turn is with mouse X, left and right. Move forward is with W.
just a second. Mouse X, mouse Y is mouse left, mouse right click, or
No, that's mouse left, I guess.
just scrolling the mouse
Just
in
moving
the
the mouse. Yeah,
Y and X. This
ex-
okay,
exactly.
got it.
And move forward is W, where you can see the scale is 1, and S, the
Mhm.
scale is -1. So it means that if you hit W, it will go forward, and you hit S, it will go backwards. Move
Okay,
right is A, yeah, no, it's D. The scale is in D is 1, and in A is -1. So it means that it is called move right. So with the scale of 1, it will go right. With the scale of -1, it will go left. Um,
okay.
and yeah, I'm not gonna go through the details more. And let's see. I had to do something else here. I would say, yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, let's see. It's not moving still. Okay, so rotation rates. Yeah, no, not yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, this is, I guess, good for us. But I wanted, I can't really find it. Where was it? But there was an option to, maybe I'm making a mistake somewhere. Rotation. Anyways, I'm gonna have to fix this later on, and I will explain it in our next
Mhm.
session. We don't have that much time for debugging right now.
Okay, this is a typical, so a small problem that can
Yeah, it's so
send you
normal.
crazy if you don't find it at first.
Yeah,
This,
and in most cases scenario, I mean, right now, the first thing that I would do is to look around because I know what I have to do. I I did it before. I have experience in that. But if I don't have any experience in that, the first thing that I would do is just to Google it, because there are a lot of forums, there are a lot of websites, there are a lot of videos on YouTube, people explaining how to do that exactly, and how to solve the problem that you're facing, because it's not only you that is facing this problem. There are lots of other people that are facing all these problems every day. So no worries, if you face
Mhm,
something, just if you can't handle it yourself, just Google it. I'm sure there is some people facing that issue.
mhm.
So
And how to name? Okay, general question: how to name the issue? Likewise, how would you name that issue now?
So right now, because I knew what I'm going to do, um, let me see. Uh, Let me show you real quick. So what I would type right now is
Yes.
true first person camera in UE4 or Unreal Engine 4. I always call it UE4.
Hmm.
So these are the videos that I'm getting right now. So let's see what this one is going to show to us.
Wow. And these are four.
Yep, and this is exactly what I. So let's see what it will do
Okay.
afterwards. So this is the palm control
Okay.
rotation. Exactly. It's in the self. So see, just with a
Yo. On.
it's not there yet. Um,
Okay. Let's not get stuck.
yep, yeah, true, true. I don't want to get stuck either.
Yeah.
So the next thing that I wanted to show you to explain is the collisions. So as you've seen,
Yeah.
we are in the ground. We are literally in the
Yeah.
ground. It means that there is no collision in here. So what we're going to do is to just click on it, and then there's this static mesh over here. Go to the details panel, go to the static mesh,
Hmm.
and if you just come here, there's an option to show simple collision, which in our case there is no collision at all, which is weird.
Okay. Simple collision is that gets automatically the ground and
No, no, I'm gonna show you real quick. So right now we don't have any collision. I'm gonna explain them all because it's a little bit, you have to understand it well. Come to the collision, add a simplified collision for the whole mesh. So um, we have the mesh here.
yeah, these two green lines that
Yeah, these two
define
green
the
lines,
mesh.
yeah, exactly, are called collision. So what collision does is that it triggers an event, or it stops the player. It's like an invisible wall where it stops
Mhm.
the player to fall off the ground where it's the ground, or if it's a wall, it will stop the character to go through the wall. Or for some other cases we can use collisions. I mean, collision is like something, when you consider it this way, when you want to touch something, when you want to touch the wall, this is not the wall that you're touching, this is the collision that you're touching. If there is no collision, your finger will go through. It's that simple. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, if you want to interact with something, you're not interacting with the mesh itself. The mesh doesn't do anything. It's the collision that does all the things.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just add one thing. I'm sharing a number now of links that you sent us. I don't know if you can see now the first link. It's a YouTube.
Mhm.
Can you see it in the?
Yes, yes, it's there.
Okay. Now it's docs of Unreal Engine on light types.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, we're not there yet. Let's.
yeah, yeah. I just give them all in the messages so they are there.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thanks.
And graphic light mask. Okay. Let's go to the next.
This is actually pretty important. Let me explain this a little bit more, and then
Yes.
we'll go to the next. Yeah. So if you just in here we've added the collision. If there's no collision, if you don't see any collision at all, just come
Mhm.
here at collision and add this simplified collision. And what this collision is doing, there's an option here under the collision. It blocks everything. So you have the option you have other options as well, which we
Mhm.
don't really need to go through them all, but this is just for you to see all the options that you will be having with the collisions. So right now, let's try it out. Where was it? So we're not in the ground yet. So we are on the ground, and if I just let's um uncheck the hidden real quick to see for you that we're not in the ground anymore. So we are walking on the ground now. So this is what
Oh,
the
very nice. Okay.
yeah, this is what the collision does. So we have to go through them all one by one. We have to specify the collision for this. We have to specify the collision for these. We have to make sure that the character doesn't fall off through or the character doesn't go through the walls. This is what we're gonna do. And if we can't specify a very specific collision, there's an option here. Invisible wall. So trigger. Let's talk trigger. Um, invisible wall. Oh, then I can't remember. So we have the option to. I don't know why I can't remember it. Class, geometry. Okay, it's in volumes. Okay, blocking volume. So just type in blocking volume, and you can just drag it to the scene, and then maybe you just scale it down a little, rotate it, and then uh,
Okay. So it's an invisible volume, not something you have modeled, but it's
exactly.
an invisible wall you model directly there. Okay.
Exactly, and the character won't doesn't have the ability to go through it. It will just stuck. It's like it
Brilliant.
collides with the wall, but it can't
Mhm.
go through it.
Okay. And when do you use this?
Um, for example, there are places that you don't have the mesh. For example, this is the area that we don't have the mesh, but we
Mm,
are having a view around
exactly.
here. We may be having an HDRI, so we can just put a blocking volume here and then make it as big as possible. And the character just won't be able to go through it. Let me show you.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, so we're not able to go past this point because we've already created an invisible wall here. I am trying
So
to go
cool.
past it,
Yeah.
but it can't.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is the collision HDRI. So the we have some options to use HDRI in UE4. One of the
Mhm.
oldest ways to do it is to just put a sphere. I'm not recommended uh, this one, but we have the option to put a sphere and then make it as big as possible, like a complete world, and make a material, make an HDRI material, which I'm not recommending. You, if you want to use it,
Mhm.
you can Google it and then learn how to do it. What I'm gonna recommend is just to go to Edit, Plugins, and I've already typed it before. HDRI. Just type HDRI, and then there is this plugin called HDRI Backdrop.
Is this coming from the marketplace?
It's already in the engine, I guess. Yeah, it's
It's
in the
within the engine. Okay, it's out of the box package. Okay.
yeah. There are actually plenty of plugins that even I'm not aware of, because it's like a world. If you've never, for example, if you've never worked with augmented reality, you don't know
Mhm.
what these are. So there are,
Mhm.
I mean, Google AR Core is something different. HoloLens is pretty different than Google AR Core. Is completely another world. So there are
Mhm.
lots of plugins. So if you've ever faced a problem that you think that's not possible, just look over to plugins or search it on marketplace. There's, I mean, there's a high possibility that you can find the plugin that you are looking for here and there. So just enable the HDRI backdrop, and then come here, HDRI backdrop, and then just drag it to the world. You have the ability to move it a little bit lower. So
Oh, this is nice.
actually, it's really low quality. I don't know why. So we can maybe make it a little bit bigger.
Okay, so this is the sphere that is getting bigger and closer, but the light, the
Yeah,
total ambient light is okay. It's changing.
okay. So we have the option
Oh,
to change the intensity here, and
mm.
we can just
Mm.
make it
How?
bigger as well. So change the intensity, change the size, change the projection center. You have the option to do that. It's actually
Okay. I had a uh, another experience with a HDRI. Do you have, Morteza, any good software to create HDRI from images patches? I've tried with the Photoshop, but
yeah.
didn't went through so well for the spheric ones. Or this is spheric, but I believe also there are cylindric HDRI. And yeah, do you have some resource for that? Or
Well, yeah, resource, actually there is a website for it. I always use this Polyhaven. There are lots of HDRIs, and you can just come here and select which one you want. I Most of the times I use either 1K or 2K, and I just download the HDRI because we
Mhm.
use the HDR
Okay,
in Unreal Engine. But other than that, some years ago, I wanted to create some
your
spherical
own
HDRIs myself. Yeah, and other than Lightroom, I didn't find anything else. But
Lightroom. Okay.
Lightroom in Photoshop, yeah. But other
Yeah.
than that, you have lots of applications with your phone. You can create outstanding HDRIs with your phone, and no need to have a big camera and big set and spending lots of hours in Photoshop, and then
Okay.
the results just bad. So these phones are really bad there. That's what I,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I've learned so far. So you have the ability to change the texture here. You can select add import, and then import to game. I don't want to actually import it here, so let's just right click, new folder, call it HDRI, right click, import to game HDRI. I had something downloaded. Yep, there's something here, so you can just drag it here, and boom, it's changed. It's not,
Okay. Now
yeah,
we
it's
are
not,
in a big room.
Yeah, exactly. And you have the option to change the intensity. You have the option to change the projection center. Let's.
How it is projection?
So
Projection center, not
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
okay.
This will change.
Okay. So projection is always spherical. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. So this projection center is to fix this artifact. So let's see. This is the artifacts that we're getting with this
Mhm.
number, and if we just add some zeros to it, it will be gone. It will actually get better. So the projection will be different, and I guess this. Yeah, this.
Mhm. This is this.
This so there's okay, it's fine. Right. So this is the HDRI that we've talked about. The next thing that we are going to talk about is to texture the environment using Bridge. So let me just open the Bridge application. I actually showed you the Bridge application before, and so I've already talked about metahumans. Let me just show you what is the
Mm.
metahumans real quick. These are the metahumans, and these are actual
Uh-huh.
game graphics. And if you have the knowledge in 3D animations and 3D rigging, you can use these character as your main character as well. You have the option to do so. And
Instead the Android.
uh,
Okay. Quixel Bridge. This is an external application, right?
yeah, exactly. This is the application alongside the Unreal Engine marketplace in Epic Games
Okay.
Software that I've shown
Okay.
in the past session. So yeah, so let's go to home and let's find some, I don't know, some surfaces in which what do we need here? So I want this to be like a concrete maybe. Yeah, let's
Can
go for,
some pavimentation, some slab. Can take slab.
yeah, exactly. So it's so maybe this is good, right? So let's just go
Okay.
there. 2K resolution is more than enough. Download it.
And this is all totally free in Quixel Bridge.
To use in Unreal Engine, yes, it's totally free. And always just the first in the first setup, I believe I've already explained this, but in case, just go to the download setting and we don't need to just go to the export settings and make sure that the engine version is correct and the plugin location is correct.
Let's repeat. So the
Yeah, it's just go to the
version
settings.
is 4.27.
Yeah, and it's up to them if they're just using 5. Oh, actually, in Unreal Engine 5, you don't need to open the Quixel Bridge application manually. It's already in there in the engine, so you have access to
Mhm.
it inside the editor. It's something you have the option to use it somewhere around here.
Uh,
There's a button. There's an extra button for it.
okay.
And
This
the plugin
place now.
location. Hmm.
Sorry.
Uh,
Go on, please.
yeah, this is the plugin location which it has this help. So in my case, it is in my D program files Epic Games UI 4.27. Yeah, this is, and then let's hit export. And when you export that, it will bring you all the content. But I don't know where was it. What was the name though? Concrete slab. Um, mega scans surfaces. Oh, it's actually with it's called mega scans and concrete
Mhm.
slabs.
Okay.
So and we have the material here. I believe,
Okay.
yeah, it's a little bit big, I would say. So just double click on it, and we can have both together at the same time. So
Okay. And you adjust from there that one unit.
yeah, there's an option here to change the tiling.
Mm. Is it here too on U and V metrics that you have like X
Oh,
and Y, U and V?
it's
How
in
it is?
it's in Unreal Engine metrics, and it's
Okay.
let me show you. Yeah, this is it. let me show you. I have to show you to answer this question. So where was it? Okay, this is the tiling. So these are some math that are happening here. It's not related to uh, actual getting the actual distance of the real world.
Yeah.
So if you want to calculate the whole distance, I would say that you need to know what's happening in here. Yeah, and actually this is the node that we're using. So I need to explain right now. I'm not sure if you could ever do that. It will take like, you really need to know what you're doing if you want to do that. But
Mhm.
this is the node that we're using. It's just texture coordination, and these are like multiply. So we have the texture, and we just multiply the u and v in something. So if we use 2, it will be 2 times smaller. Let me show you in
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
Exterior.
So it's a multiplier.
Yeah, exactly. So we are having the tiling here, and if we just hit 2, it will be 2 times smaller in the x-axis, and in the y-axis it will be 2 times smaller. So we're just gonna go with something below 0. I'm not sure if the proportions are not correct, right?
It stretched the whole. Oh, I think it's like it's fair enough as proportion this way. It's
Yeah.
realistic. Okay, so it's concrete pavimentation.
Exactly. And we have all the other options. Albedo is the basic texture. You can change it. You can um change the color. You can explore around for yourself. You can use some metallic. You can change the specular. As I told you, what specular is, and roughness and specular are, what was it called in Revit? Glossiness, right?
I
Yeah,
believe, yeah.
if these two are glossiness, then you can change the normal maps to uh, maybe strengthen up a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not sure if it's that visible, but yeah, can you see here, right? It's happening underneath.
Yeah, yeah, I can see. I can see.
So it will just make the details a little bit harsher if you go through
Is
it.
this
So
compromising a lot the GPU? This roughness, like if
no. It's like it's all are like calculating. The normal is using a texture. So this texture is this size, and this size will go to the GPU. So if you have like 8 gigabytes of GPU, 2 megabytes of that will be gone for this texture. So it will be this
that
texture.
much.
Yeah, this is a 2K texture. And in
Mhm.
nowadays in visual architecture projects, they sometimes use 8K textures. So it's like 4 times bigger. It's like
Yeah, but
16.
I mean, how can you get out of this with your GPU? I mean, you stress with one texture visible close, one 8K. You cannot have any other texture then close to
No,
you.
you have 8 gigabytes of VRAM in your GPU. This is just 2 megabytes.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
this is 2000 KB. Yes, of course. You're right.
yeah. So
So
it will
you sum up to 8 gigabytes. When it's overloaded, so it's time to stop. So you have at least 4,000 times more here.
exactly. I mean, 8 gigabytes of VRAM is a lot. It's not normal for a normal GPU. I would say 4 gigabytes, which is already enough for such a project. So we're not gonna be worried that much because of
Mhm.
the textures. But
And
if you are
this
worried,
will,
hmm,
pardon, go ahead.
if you are worried about the textures, you have the ability to reduct the quality a little bit. But the texture must be a power of 2. So in this case, it has to be 2048 in 2048. This is not a power of 2, so you don't have the option to change the quality. To do so, you
Mhm.
have the level of detail here. This must be set in from texture group, and you can set it to something like, to in this case, oh, it actually worked. Yeah, nice. So it may be because both of them are the power of 2. This is why it
Mhm.
worked. So
Mhm.
it came from 2 megabytes to something like this. This is for mobile, actually. We use these kind of textures in mobile, not in visual architectural visualizations.
Like
This is for,
100 KB or 200 KB. This size is less than 1 megabyte.
it's like nothing. So
Hmm.
if I just put one, and if you just let me just hit 3 so you can see the difference between. So I believe it was here. No, no, where was it? Okay. So we had the normal here. Let me show you. Let's put, so you can see that quality is pretty low right now. And if I
Hmm.
hit 0, there will be a lot of details in here. So
Hmm.
see there are lots of details appearing while the quality is higher.
Okay.
But when the quality is lower, the details are just simply gone.
Okay. What's your experience with the floors? Are people visualizing floors? I mean, is it worth to have a 2K, 4K, 8K on floors?
2K is fine. It's actually more
It's
than
fine.
fine. Yeah, you can get away
Okay.
with it pretty easily. You don't actually need to optimize anything texture wise. If you want to work on mobile, then yeah, you have to pay attention to the size, to the GPU
Mhm.
usage. But in PC visualizations, no, you can get away with it pretty easily.
Okay.
So yeah, you have lots of options to change in here, and you can even add things if you want to. You have the parent material here, so if you want to add lots of other things. Okay, this is the parent material. So if you want to add some other things, you can go ahead and try to change things. But remember, googling stuff is your best help. you know it's
Mm.
your best
Okay.
chance to survive in this world. So if you get stuck at some
Gotcha.
point, just Google it. Okay, so
May I do just one short communication then?
sure.
I will share my screen. One moment. This is just to remember that we have a YouTube channel, and this is also our website. And Calypso Network is working on a number of BIM projects serving other companies in modeling, and now even in the part of VR. And yeah, would like to suggest to sign up our YouTube channel and take contact with us on hello@calizide.com. Even the people who are following the streaming now, the live, so if they mail us, they can uh, get the model, the BIM model in Revit 2020 of this, and follow step by step uh, all what we have done today. So please subscribe the channel and write us to stay in touch with us. Okay, let's go further in this.
Okay, the next thing, these are really important. We are working in ArcViz visualization, and
Mhm.
the things that will get the quality higher are mostly textures and meshes that we are using. So we mostly use Quixel Bridge or Unreal Engine Marketplace. So right
Mhm.
now we're going to add where was it? Add some assets. So let's head over to 3D assets. There are some assets, but mostly these are not for ArcViz visualizations. Unless you want to go ahead and create a landscape, a nature view or something like that, you have the option to use this. You've got a lot of options. Like there are some props if you want to go ahead and create a farm. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead.
Oh. Mhm.
Uh, use, I don't know, this.
Modeling stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's use these old cushions. These are just for showing to you. These are not.
Mhm.
I'm not proposing to use this stuff.
So,
So this is only for telling you that this is usable.
mhm.
So let's wait until it gets downloaded completely. And as you can see, I've already downloaded the 2K resolution. So this is related to the texture in it. And you have the option to download settings in models. You have the option to download all the different LODs, level of details. So in this case, I've downloaded all the LODs, but if you feel confident, just go ahead and
Mhm.
uncheck them all and just download the LOD 0. You have the option to create all the other LODs in Unreal Engine 4 as well.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
just click export. You have the option to export either from here or here. So
Okay. Okay.
export and yeah,
So
3D assets.
brilliant.
So if you
And
most
how
of
is
most
it drag and drop to place them?
yeah, exactly. So if you import something, if import an FEX file or any 3D stuff, most of the times, I would say 90% of times,
Mhm.
you get this message. You it's like nothing, just close the window.
Okay.
So this is the mesh that we've downloaded, and as you can see, this is only 2K. Imagine how 8K would look. This is
Mhm.
really high quality.
Mhm.
So again, this doesn't have any collision. So just if you just come here and show collision, you either have um, complex collision or simple
Wow.
collision.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Complex collision means that it will try to replicate the collision from the mesh itself. So this is the wire. Let me show you the wireframe of the mesh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the mesh itself, and
Yeah. Mhm.
this will be the complex collision. So this will be pretty heavy on CPU. The collision stuff will be rendered in CPU, will be processed in CPU.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't ever. I mean, sometimes you could get away with it. It's completely your choice, but I wouldn't suggest you to use complex collision. If you want to, you have the complex collision, just come here and in the collision complexity, use complex collision as simple. And if you go ahead and choose simple collision, it will show you the complex collision and it will behave as this collision. Just go ahead and set it to project default and come here to collision and add a simplified collision, which is the best option ever.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Okay.
yeah, you can just drag and drop it to the scene, and most of the times it will snap to other meshes. You have the option to move it around. And
Okay.
yeah, and one good thing though is that you have the UV channels set for you, so you won't need to pay attention to. I mean, most of the times when you import some mesh other than datasmith is pretty cool. When you import something like an FVX file to your scene, most of the times you'll face a lot of problems regarding a lot of errors in lighting stuff because the UV is not set completely. But in this
Mhm.
case, in all the Quixel Bridge assets, the UV is set perfectly, so you don't need to worry about that.
But always in the light emitting ones. If something is not a light emitting, I can disregard this complexity, right?
You always have a light. You always have a directional light. Your sun,
Mhm.
you have your sun, right? Or
Ah, okay. So the reflection, it will impact with the reflection if the UV is not set. Even the cushion need to have a UV set in that in order to reflect the light.
to reflect the light.
How it
Um,
is? Let me understand.
okay, so we are going to explain the lighting today. Let me
Okay.
see. Oh, let me see just real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, bridge. Okay, the next thing is to and one side note is that remember you told me
Hmm.
about the Google Map meshes. If you want to, I didn't know it. I mean, uh, 90% of times when you face something or when you think of creating something, you have no idea of how to do it and you just Google it. I did the same and I found out that there's no other option than um,
Doing Blender.
in Blender or 3D Studio Max or anything you want. I've already attached a link and Michael sent a link for you. You can
Yes,
use the link.
this
Yeah,
link here. I did a step-by-step um,
yeah,
guide
yeah.
on
It's a
that.
tutorial, exactly.
Yeah, it's 15 steps and goes through. I can show very rapidly, not going step by step, but just having quick look. So screen, yes. It's on LinkedIn at this link here, shown screen. Yeah. Okay. So this link that you see here, it explains how to take Google Maps and uh, importing through navigation and through Google Chrome, doing some modification, downloading uh, third-party software, and actually then getting all the meshes of this. And then after they are captured, saved, and imported into Blender and scaled, these are the meshes. This is the city replicated and then exported in different possibility. Here we have FBX. So and then there is even the possibility to join different maps, different parts. So do this work per parts, and then with this capture merger, join them. Okay, and that was it. So I think it was very much simplified. Sometimes when I have the guides on step by step, personally, don't know you guys listening, I prefer to the YouTube video because it's sometimes more rationalized to follow. Anyhow, yeah, so maybe next time I will send you before 1 2 days before the setting of Rio de Janeiro, and we will try to put one HDRI, which is okay, and the landscape around a small piece of.
Okay, great, great. And this was incredible. Thank you for the whole guidance. Um,
It was a pleasure. Let's go ahead then.
okay, the next thing, you had asked me some other question. Uh, so I explained the tiling.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will need to, most of the times in landscapes. Let's go to the landscape. Oh, it's so bad. So let's just move it a little bit lower so we can have the landscape here. So let's just download a material. I want to show you exactly what is.
It's even surfaces. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Grass. Yes, the tiling effect. It's so ugly when you see this tiling effect there. Uh,
exactly. You have the ability to, as I told you, to blend a small, I mean, a multiplied tiled texture with
yeah.
a normal texture which is bigger. So you have all the bigger textures in a distance, and you have smaller textures in front of the camera. There's actually
Mhm.
a note for that. Let me just show you. So to do so, cut grass. I don't want to use this one. I just want to use the texture. I want to show you from scratch. Right click on the texture. This is the texture that we're going to use. Right click on the texture, create material, and let's see. You can apply it to the material. Is I believe, yeah, it is on
It's
foundation.
there. It's there.
Yeah. So if you just come here, it is there. Let me show you.
Hmm.
Uh,
In great extent. Okay, this is again the part of visual programming.
exactly. Lands.
Uh, let's talk about theory. Would it be possible, Morteza, to have like a randomized equation, math equation, in order to scatter uh, two of them with some transparency, like
What, two
to
materials?
yeah, two grass with a bit of transparency, and having them with a partial transparency so that they blend one with another, and scattering the parts with the law of chaos, so of probability, so they are not all the same oriented.
So that would be using meshes or this. What was it called? Tessellations.
Tessellation, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
tessellation is material related, and yeah, that's possible to tessellate them up. So to fake, uh, to fakely show that this material, this texture is a mesh. This is one option. The other option is to download a grass from 3D plants. Yeah, there are actually plenty of grasses. Yeah, this is a wild grass we can use,
Hmm.
and use this mode's foliage that I had shown you, and you can just
Last
add it
time.
to here, and then draw the all of the grasses to the landscape. In that case, you have to set a filter only to landscape and uncheck the static mesh, since we are working on landscape. These are two possibilities, but one thing that I wanted to show you is
Mhm.
only using a texture, a material. So we have the option to landscape coordinates to, yeah, yeah, this is the landscape coordinate. So this is the tile for U and for V. And we have a node called distance blend. Yeah, the distance blend.
Mhm.
Oh, it's getting complicated. So we have another node called lerp, which is, you just hold L. I always do that. Hold L and left click will bring you lerp. So lerp means that you have an A option and you have a B option. Okay. So
Mhm.
in our case, uh, s- we have two textures.
Yes.
One
Aha.
one is, for example, 1 1, and one is, for example, 10 10. And we want to change between these two textures. The way we do that is to hit this one here. Yes, and this will be our B. So the alpha will be this will be specified in what distance, or in actually in what, where it is like a, you can pretty much connect it with anything that you want. In this case, we want our distance to specify whether we use this one or this one. So the alpha is a number with between 0 and 1.
Mhm.
So the
Multiplier.
yeah, it's like if it's 0, then use this one. It is if it's 1, then use this one. If it's
Mm.
somewhere between, just you blend these two together.
Okay, a blender. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
so
Hmm.
this will be like our alpha, this will be base color. And oh man, yeah, this is the whole concept. I've already attached a link explaining all this stuff in detail. So yeah, we don't have that much time. We have a lot of other stuff to explain as well. So I would suggest you recommendly to mm, recommend Louis strongly
Okay, yeah, you got the point.
to go through all that links. This is actually a trick that I've learned from that video some years ago. So I went back and then found that video and attached that for you guys. So because you
Okay.
know, for that you want to know a little bit more about. Let's go ahead. Whatever. So uh, let's hit apply. Because all these are just codes. So you have to hit apply to compile them all. Everything you do,
To
everything
run
you
the
see.
script.
Exactly. So these
Okay.
are like codes. These are like the compiler button
Mhm.
in Visual Studio. So instead of compile, you hit apply, and it's faster. It's pretty faster.
And the result, where do you see the result if it
Uh,
is
I want
working?
to do that. I want to explain it all, and then we'll go to the results. So if you just come here,
Hmm.
we have something called parameters. So and they are either a float variable, which is just a number, a two vector variable which contains x and y axes. I'm sorry, x and y axes. You have three vector variables which contains a complete location x, y, and z axis. So um, if you hold S on your keyboard, you will bring the float variable, which in this case we want to use float. So we want to connect one float to this one and one float to this one. This will be
Hmm.
just our parameter, which we'll use later on. So this will be the blend range. Blend range. And this will be the start offset. Offset. Oh, and then if we hit, I guess we let's see, this is 1, this is 10. Just hoping it would work because
There is some step which is not optimized. Okay.
so just to
Yeah.
use these two, these the scalar parameters are just for, because if we want to change the variables here, change the numbers here, then we have to hit apply and compile again, and most of the times it will take some time. It is not as fast as you are seeing here because
Mm.
our materials are not this simplified.
Uh,
Go ahead.
we can maybe send a print screen uh, once we get there without stopping. We can run through. I got the idea of the thing, and probably also our readers has. So mm I think it's just a print screen of something that then works out will help everyone. We can
Mhm.
do afterwards. I got the idea what it came after just looking at the visual scripting. Then we are accustomed in visual scripting with many difficulties in Revit with the platform Dynamo, and debugging one scripted can take long. So let's go forward. We
So
can
yeah,
get
I
stuck.
have to, yeah, I have to explain. Just I'm gonna explain and try to teach you as much as possible and not try to debug anything because that will take time. So
Yeah.
if you just right click on your material, there's an option create material instance. So it means that in material instance you have the option, I've in here we've already specified two parameters. So we are having our parameters here. So if to use that we need to drag our material instance instead of the material itself to the scene, and then um, we have the option. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's. Okay. So anyways, we're not gonna debug anything. So these two are the options that we have specified here. So we need to change these options, and we can change them in real time. So if we just check them,
Hmm.
um, we we have the option to change them. So this is the blend range and start offset, which is not working.
Okay, this is the fine part of the live. I
Yeah,
mean, who cares? Let's go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. So you get the idea. This is the material
Hmm.
instance. You have access to all the things that you have specified. You
Hmm.
can also, if you want to, you can use a vector parameter. So to do
Hmm.
that, hold V and left click, uh, vector, and instead of a texture, you can go and
Put a color.
yeah, put a color in it, and you can change the color in real time,
Okay.
which is not changing. What, I guess it's compiling shaders or something. Oh yeah, it's changed. So
Nice.
yeah.
And is it possible to overlap two different things, a color um,
Uh
and the texture with
yeah.
different transparency,
Yeah, we have an option
just
here
without
in,
doing, but just
yeah, I know. In landscapes, we have the option to paint. We have the sculpt and paint. So if you
hmm
go to the paint, you can just Google it up because it will take some time to explain it all. It is really complicated, and you have a node called la-
freehand painting. So I can freehand
exactly.
painting. Okay, even
Mhm.
with a spray, like not a round spray, but maybe with a foliage spray and
Yeah,
giving some
exactly. It's exactly like when you draw the
as
foliage on.
Photoshop, as
Mhm.
like doing Photoshop on 2D, but Photoshop here on 3D. Mm.
It is a brush. Yeah, exactly. It's a brush like Photoshop. It's
Okay,
it's
this
exactly
is
like you're painting.
this is marvelous. I mean, the
So if
guys are very crazy furious.
so if you just come here in layer blend, you have the option to add
Layer
layer
blend.
blends. So it's just this is the normal procedure that we're going to go. So this is the first layer, and if you want to blend two layers, just add two, name them whatever you want, just three, whatever you want. This will be for me S, this will be T, and then okay, 0 0.5, this has to be 0 0.5, and it will be U 0.5, and then if we um j- then instead of that you can just hit this to the layer blend, and if you oh yeah, you already have that, but you have to create a layer info as well. Weight blended layer, just hit OK. and it will take some time to
Mhm.
implement that. Yep, and again. So right now we have the option to yeah, it is yeah, exactly. So we have the option to paint things the way we want, and this is
You're painting there, right?
yeah, exactly. And if you remember correctly, this is something else, and these two are the same textures, but the UV tiling is different. It's multiplied by 10 and
Mm-hmm.
it's multiplied by 1. So yeah, this is the whole basic idea about blending. You can either blend or you can blend the distance. I believe this node is correct. So we only have to um, play around a little with the values. That's all.
Mm.
Uh, and this will be all the most of the times this will be the last step that we have to take. So we already have all the blends, all the textures, and everything ready to go, and this will be the last step. So that would be really easier to debug things and get to the results that you want. Okay, so next up is I've already attached three videos, YouTube videos for the landscape materials. There are, you know, creating materials for landscape is hard. It's really hard. It's
Mhm.
like a profession. So your profession can be creating materials for landscape.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. There are lots. I mean, you've seen the code, right? There are a lot of nodes, and you can get really extremely creative with all of these nodes. I mean, I'm talking about Hollywood stuff and
Yeah.
a lot of really weird stuff that you can create with.
Okay.
Um,
I
so
got one of these which I haven't shared. Now I will take care about sharing via now messages. Please go on.
Okay, so the next step is lighting,
Yeah, this is
which is
fantastic.
the most important part. So to do so, this level is pretty. This level has gotten pretty big, so I'm just gonna go create a new level. Uh, I want to use an empty level. Okay, so if you use an empty level, it is
Mhm.
empty. You have nothing. So there are some things to consider here. First of all, Unreal Engine 4 comes with a directional light, which is a
Mhm.
sun light. You can have that.
Parallel projection. Okay.
Yeah. So starter content. We have all the props. No, we don't want a prop. We don't. We want a floor. So we have a floor here, which so if you don't have the directional light, you have no light. You need to have a
Okay.
light to light up your whole scene. And if you type sky, there are some skies where you can use some pretty good
Mhm.
skies. If you don't want to use HDRIs, you have the skies. Um, or this is just only for ArcViz, or you can have the sun sky, which I don't like. So I'm gonna go with the sky sphere. And in here, I believe you have to set your directional light actor, which in my case is directional light. So it will. So if
Mhm.
I just rotate my directional light a little, I can come here to the sky sphere and refresh material, and it will be a really beautiful afternoon. So if I just go ahead and make it a night, I can refresh it and it is a night. And this is actually something that you can create for yourself too. It's all hard coded. It's all with the um, Node
So
program.
all this has coding blueprint back this.
Yeah, these are all ready to use, but somebody has coded them from
Okay.
scratch.
So it has an interface, and we see on the right side of the screen, on that column,
Hmm.
with all the values, or we can do it
Manually, exactly.
manually, which is not
Or
efficient. and for beginners.
yeah, or you can go ahead and search for a beautiful sky in marketplace. I'm sure you can find a lot of
You
great stuff.
get something and you are done, good to go. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Mm.
um
So once again, for the listeners and viewers, we are on which of these skies now? BP sky, sphere,
yeah,
or
BP sky sphere. This is um the normal sky sphere that I actually use, that most of the people actually use. It's like the default sky in Unreal Engine 4. So let me just, I want to show you something else. So this is the floor, and if we add some walls to it, by the way, if you hit Alt and do something, move or rotate on scale, it will duplicate what you have.
nice. Uh huh.
So, and it will duplicate it from the center point. What was it
Hmm.
called? I can't remember. Maybe
Yeah,
the
center. Let's call it origin
the pivot point in here. Yeah.
pivot point. Okay.
So these are. Let's have some walls. I have to show you something about lighting. So these walls are. I mean, we have the sun coming from there, so we have
Mhm.
this side of the wall pretty lit, but we have this side of the wall pretty black. So this is a problem that we have to solve. So
Mm.
we have actually a lot of options to do so. One of them, and the most easiest one, is to use a skylight. Skylight means that it will reflect the light that we have coming
In,
from the sky. So if you just go ahead and make it a noon, sorry, let's refresh material, and if you, let's real time cat, no, okay, it's sky atmosphere. Okay, let's add a sky atmosphere. I don't want it now. So I don't want this sky. Okay, so it's already updated to a noon. So if you had paid attention to it, it was already orange because the whole sky was orange. No, I'm gonna show you once again. And if you just hit apply again, it is orange right now because the sky is orange. It's actually less orange. Okay, so this is the skylight that most of the times we use. And
Mhm.
another option to
This is closer to reality, Morteza, because normally you have in daylighting, I mean, science-wise, you have direct contribution of sun, parallel projection, and diffuse projection, diffuse lighting from the blue sky, which attenuates the contrast. Exactly this way, two components.
yeah, so yeah, exactly. So this is actually something to fake it all. This is,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
after all, this is a game engine. This is not
Yeah.
reality. This is not
Yeah.
VRA. To do it in the right way is to use the global illumination, to use the indirect lighting. To do so, so the global illumination runs in a way that there are some light photons coming that way, and these will just hit the surface, and then they reflect like and they got projectile to another surface, and then bounce back to and they will eventually light up the whole place. This is
Mm.
how the real world works. So the way to do so, we are going to, let's create a wall in front of these things to make the wall,
Hmm.
make the light bounce back a little.
Okay.
So let's delete this. And right now, if you see this, we have no lighting here, but we are going to create.
Okay. You have only the direct uh, part. Okay. So the light is not bouncing back to clarify, to enlighten the back of this wall, which is black, totally black.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you don't need to do this in your own projects because most of the times you have a home, you have lots of walls, you have lots of objects in front of the light to bounce back. I'm just doing this to demonstrate to you. So to
Yeah.
create the whole global illumination, we have a world settings. Come to window, world settings, and we have a light mask settings here. These are the default values. So let's go ahead with default value. We have to, I mean, what they call is bake the lighting. We have to bake the lighting first, and it will take some time. This is why I've come to another level to make it more simple, to take less time. And this is a CPU based process. So, and I'm
CPU, CPU.
exactly CPU.
Okay.
So my CPU is pretty powerful. It's not that bad, but if your CPU is not there yet, it's not that good, maybe you have some issues in this regard.
Okay.
So come here, there's a button here. Don't ever use this build button because it
Mhm.
will build the whole everything you have. Come here. Lighting quality right now is on preview. Production is what you would actually use for your production purposes. I'm gonna demonstrate to you, or I want to see a preview of the scene, then I'll build lighting only. And yeah, so right now we have to wait. It's not.
Okay.
So it is a
Hmm.
preview of how it will look, but it is, as you can see, without any kind of skylight, without any kind of fake lighting, we've already lightened this place up, and this is actually not that bad.
Hmm. Everything CPU based, you said.
Yeah, CPU based. And if you can just go ahead and put it on high, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna show you what the difference will be.
So is this the way to work always?
Not always. It really depends on what you have. If you have foliages, if you have trees, if you have grasses, you would either want to. Let me show you.
I got
Okay.
where you're heading to.
You know you have to compensate because uh this is we have the whole level here. This is our level. I mean, you don't
Hmm.
need to worry about that. But if you just come here, the light maps, you have 6 light maps that are baked. Okay, and these are, I mean, it's not that big. It's actually nothing. But if you have grass or if you have big trees, pretty detailed assets, these things will where was it?
Explode rapidly. Um,
Exactly.
I don't understand how to read these square images
I
of
Me
the
neither.
base.
Yeah, me neither. This is what actually. I mean, there is definitely a logic for it, but it's actually the whole level. Yeah. So it puts the whole level together. That's quite.
In
Uh,
plan, are we looking this in plan or is?
no, this is UV based. It's actually based on the UV that I've shown you.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is what the engine will use.
Okay. It's doing
Yeah.
so and putting on the plan. Okay.
Hmm.
And then setting one near to the other. Okay. We can
Yeah, but
remember that the
yeah,
last.
but I can't remember. I can't read this. This is like some weird nonsense image to me. Really, I don't know
Okay.
how to read this. But
Okay.
this
Okay.
is the UV that the engine is using
Hmm.
create all the lighting, and
One
this is,
wall. Okay.
yeah, most of the times this is the image that the engine creates for itself based on the UV that you will give the engine, which in this case there's no UV because the mesh is coming from the engine. But if you want to import a mesh to the engine, you will have to fix the UV first because the engine will then create another UV map for the lighting purposes. So if you want to bake the lighting, if you want to use this option, you have to fix all the UV issues that you are going to have. In that case, I would strongly recommend you to Google it because it's a lot of work and you will face a lot of problems, a lot of headaches, really.
Mm-hmm.
So this is called the static lighting, the baked lighting. This is really performant, and this is what most of the architecture visualization projects use. Um, if you have a really, really great um, GPU, like, I mean, specifically an RTX card, like the 20 series of NVIDIA and 30 series of
Mhm.
NVIDIA, you have the option to use GPU light mass instead of CPU because, as I told you, this whole process is CPU based. So you can make it happen to be a GPU based process. I've sent you the link for the whole tutorial.
Yeah, it is this that we are seeing now, I believe,
Um, yeah, okay. So to
here in the
do so,
message.
there is a plugin for it, GPU Lightmass. Oh, GPU Lightmass. It will
Mhm.
try to compile a lot of shaders, like 10,000 shaders, and it will take like for my CPU, it will take like 3 to 4 minutes to compile all of those shaders. So we don't have that much time. So just enable these settings, and then after that, come to the project settings and type ray tracing. Because GPU Lightmass is ray traced based. So as I told you, what ray traced is, as I told you, the light will come and then hit somewhere. There are actually a lot of photons coming, hitting some surface and bouncing
Mhm.
back to another surface, bouncing
Mhm.
back to lit all the place up.
Physical
So
simulation.
exactly. So what ray tracing does is that ray tracing is real-time light, global illumination lighting. It's
Mhm.
it is both simulating global illumination and reflections because we have reflection problem as well in Unreal Engine 4, which will come into. Um, so just go ahead and check this box ray tracing. It will ask you to check some other boxes as well. You just do so and then come here in Windows. uh, it has to be rendered on DirectX 12. So after that you will get, after that you have to restart the engine and wait for all the shaders to compile, and then I believe there will be another one of these added to here called GPU light mask, something like that, and you can add it to here to attach it somewhere here. It's easy. It's really easy to use, and you just build the light, and it's fast. It's super fast. But the
Mhm.
only problem that all the lighting, static lighting methods have are related to foliages. So let us just head over to the other.
Okay. Static E, you mean this CPU?
And GPU. Yeah, anything that static means that if I there's this shadow, right? If I
Okay,
delete
okay.
it, the shadow remains because it's not physically there. It is
Okay, so that when the foliages oscillate by the winds, they will not they will not project a shadow that is dynamic.
one is that, and another and most important thing is that you will see a lot of artifacts, a lot of blackness on the branches. I can't try it for you right now. It will just take some time. So
Mm.
it won't look really good. It will look really bad, really bad. So the way to fix that issue is either not to use any kind of static lighting in your project, or if you
Mm.
want to use that, there's an option. If you use the foliage.
There is actually in the project there is quite a lot of that. So
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. So the way to do so, let me show you something real quick.
yep.
Oh, where was it? This preset. Um, meshes. Okay. So sorry. So we have, if we want to, sorry, if we want to use the foliages, just click on this and you have the option to cast shadows. Just uncheck cast shadows, and in that case you will have the option to use um, static lighting. Or if you want to just drag them to your scene, the option will be on your right. If you just click on it in the details panel, you have the option to cast shadow or not cast any shadow. So it will be like, if you hit cast shadow, there will be a shadow being cast by the
Hmm.
mesh, and if it doesn't cast shadow, there's nothing.
Okay, and what's here the artifacts you were telling about?
Okay, then let's show you the artifacts. Static. Let's build it.
So the projected shadow on my side, it's quite okay. I mean, it's appreciable.
Not there yet. So this is the shadow that,
Oh, no, 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 not
and
nice.
this is the tree that you'll get. You see there are lots of black
Black.
areas of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is not a tree that you'd like to have. So
No, no, no.
this
But
was the tree.
how it comes, there is a preview of the shadow, which is brilliant, and even
This
dynamic.
Yeah, this is the dynamic shadow. This is the next part that we're gonna talk about. So one of the links that I've sent is about the difference between all types of lights. So you can go ahead and try to read that as well. So if we just come here to directional light, you have the option to use either static, stationary, or movable. Right now it's on static. So static,
Visionary.
yeah, exactly. So static means that it can't move. No matter what, it can't move. And the only option that it can be used, it is with baking all the lighting to the light maps, as I've shown you. Stationary means it will bake the whole light map. It will bake the whole global illumination into the light maps, and it will, at the same time, it will use the dynamic shadows to use the to simulate the direct, direct map. I have. So we have an indirect global illumination. We have a direct global illumination.
Hmm.
This is lit
Gotcha.
here. This is lit by global indirect global illumination. So it's not coming directly to the
Yeah,
surface.
from the sky, the blue of the sky. In this
Not
case, it's the
only, not
orange of the
only,
sky.
yeah, not only from the sky, but from the all the bouncings that are happening in the scene.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is the
Also.
global, yeah, the induction of light. So stationary means that it will bake all the indirect light to the light maps, and it will process the whole directional light with the movable, which is it. If we set it unmovable, yeah, it is with less quality. We can have the quality pretty higher, but the compensation is that it is really heavier than. I mean, it is definitely heavy. Let me show you. So if you come here to directional light, you have. Oh, actually, I didn't show you this. You have, if you come to the details in directional light, you have all the intensity and all the angle. That if you want to use the temperature, Unreal Engine does support that.
Hmm.
It's based on candles, I believe.
This is no, it's K. Color temperature is Kelvin.
Kelvin, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Kelvin degrees.
Yeah, thank you for that. And
No.
then you have the option to change these, which the first one
Mhm.
is as it shows you the indirect lighting intensity. Okay. The what I wanted to show you is you have lots of options. Just go ahead and explore them all. But what I wanted to show you is that
So now
uh,
it's the shadow is kind of floating. Is that because the walls are floating, are not attached to the ground?
no, no, it's an artifact of movable shadows. It shouldn't
It's
be
an
that.
artifact.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
it's
be
an
this way. Okay.
so yeah, it is really bad at the moment. It shouldn't be really this bad.
Okay. So
So
there
what?
is a kind of shift ahead or backwards as you look at it, but there is a shift in
Oh
between
no,
the
it's
position.
because yeah, it's because we've already baked all the lighting into the light map, and that's causing some problem.
Okay,
So
so
what
there is a
I'm doing?
kind of memory. This is a new concept for me, probably for a part of the people who are listening to us too. So once you bake the lighting, there is kind of printing the light on a support, and it's done. It's printed. Then if you change the things, you have saved somehow. Is
Yeah,
it that
you
so that I have understood?
yeah, exactly. And you have the option to actually delete this, but I can't remember where uh, I did change the
Oh,
level.
okay, okay, okay.
Oh no,
Clear all the
so
memory.
exactly. So I saved the level here in this file, and I've named it Untitled. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the build data. This is all the data that you are seeing here. So if you just delete this, force delete
Mm-hmm. We have deleted what?
the
The
light
indirect
data, the
indirect
whole
dialect.
exactly the whole indirect lighting. Um, so it's yeah. Well, this is one of the situations that need debugging really because um it's not the normal lighting that you would see in your game. So, anyways, um,
In this case, so the best thing is to delete all the
yeah,
baked lights and start from scratches again.
yeah. Well, you have that option as well. So, anyways, I wanted what it right now. It doesn't even cast any shadows. Nice. So, anyways, what I wanted to do, how can I show that when it's not casting shadows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's reload the level again. Maybe that's a problem because of that. Okay, there's an interior
Okay.
level.
Meanwhile, you do this. I'll send the video of the building, so we have a look a moment of the building, how it looks like for the ones who haven't followed um,
Okay, great.
the previous session. Share my screen, and I will share that. So it's on a bigger screen. So I'm sorry, but you will need to have a look on a bit of what I look to. There is a fantastic bossa nova music, but that you cannot listen. And this we will do it again. This is made with another renderer, and it's Autodesk InfraWorks, which is not done for that. And all this oh, sorry, I wasn't showing. Now, okay, now you're seeing. So this is the building, the skyscraper in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And what we will do is now we have the bottom part of this skyscraper, 4 levels. We will fill up with foliage and landscape whole floors up to the top. So covering it as a hill with uh, trees and plants iris, everything that is Brazilian typical foliage. And yeah, for this we need, of course, these bases that we will do according the step-by-step procedure I shared, and recreating at the bottom, and of course all these lighting steps that we are seeing now, with also the ability to put the landscaping part directly then in Unreal Engine. The basis it's done in BIM in Revit software, and yeah, let's stop here. And for the ones who are interested in reproducing that, they can send us an email at hello@calizode.com, and we will really appreciate that and share with them our model. Okay, so here we are back again. There is then this shift. One thing I was wondering, Morteza, is there any navigation way to see elevations in side views in Unreal Engine, like a navigator that you can have a look exactly like left, right, front to see if the elements are touching the floor or not. Because I had this little doubt. Would you imagine if this wall is not touching the ground or stuff like that?
Yeah, so okay.
This is top.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is top, but it's lit. It's on lit, so we have the option to.
And if it's okay, where's this guy, this wall? I cannot spot in the
Okay, so this,
simulation.
yeah, this is the wall.
Yeah, this little test that we have done. This is the skyscraper.
Exactly, and this is the material that we have put on the landscape. This is the our
Three.
invisible wall that we have.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have the option to
Brilliant. Okay.
so um okay, so let me see, son. I wanted to show you the sun directional lights. So what they have in here, they've in the other level, I've shown you to put a directional light directly into the scene coming from here. But what they did in Epic Games is that they've created an actor, right click, blueprint class, an actor, and
Hmm.
in the actor, they've added this directional light for you to easily use it. But either way, you have to code.
Let's recap for people listening. What's an actor? Um,
Uh, the first thing that I told you about the character, remember, a right-click blueprint class, you have lots of things. These are the like C++ classes that you just create to code. So these are
mhm.
code-based. These are the things that can do anything, that can communicate with each other. These are the things that will make things happen inside the engine. So actor is something that uh, it can be communicated with, it can be used as anything in the engine. And in this way, what they've done with it is just they've just right click and blueprint class actor, they've created something, and then when they go through it, they've just added some directional light, as you can see it here, directional light, skylight, the things that I've already told you. They've added it all in an actor for the ease of use for Revit users.
Mhm. Okay.
um, what we can what I wanted to show you is that for the when we are using the movable light, we have the option to dynamically cut the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's at 20,000 Unreal unit. So let's hit 1,000, hit compile. And right now, if you get super close to it, you can remember the blending zone, right? If you get super close
Mm-hmm.
to it, it will have shadows. But if you
It was
get
1 centimeter, so at 1 meter we'll start then
10, 10 mid 10
10
meters,
meters. Sorry,
yeah.
yeah, 10 meters. Yes, you're right. A little bit of
So
math, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
10 meters. Yes.
if you go for 4,000, it will cut the shadows off in 4,000. So it's completely
Mm,
the same in the whole world. There's no shadows unless you get close.
okay. Is this a essential to have? Yes, otherwise it will kill your GPU, right?
If you want to use movable lighting, yes, it is essential to know all this stuff. And I can't really explain it all in 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
I would, yeah, strongly recommend again to Google and to learn a lot about it because, lighting is again an expertise. There are lots of problems that will come your way in only lighting. Yeah, and I mean, the problems could be really big. Right now, I'm in another project in which it's a game. We have this lighting issue for like a month, and we are four people, and none of us could solve it yet. So, and we don't really know how to solve it, and we can't find anything else. But I mean, the way to start when you're facing a problem, the way to start solving it is just to, if you can't solve it yourself, just to Google it and try to see what other people do about it.
Is this a
So,
bit more straightforward in the? By the way, today they have launched the Unreal Engine 5 preview phase. They got into the previous phase.
mhm.
Uh, I got the news from Google News. Is this a little bit better in the 5 optimized? I mean, simplified. What do you can say on
uh,
what
it
can you
is
say on that?
definitely getting more simple, but I mean, you need to know at least a little bit about lighting stuff. It's not that hard. The article that I've sent you is explaining a lot about lighting, so it's not bad. This stuff, these are all explained and taught by the Epic Games itself. So if anyone wants to learn this stuff, there are lots of videos from Epic Games themselves. They are the ones who created this engine, and they know better than us, right? So they taught us from scratch about all the things that we have, all the actually not all the things. There are a lot of things that are not explained yet, but they've explained a lot. So if someone wants to go through them all, go in depth completely, they can really go into the Epic Games, the Unreal Engine channel in YouTube, and start watching their videos.
Okay.
And the next thing, oof, okay. So the material instance, um, lighting is pretty important, and most of the times you'd really in arc visualization, the only thing that you will need to know is just use stationary lighting and to try to come here in window world settings, come here and in light mask settings. Oh, actually, these are preset for you for Revit users,
Mhm.
so you don't ever need to know about this stuff. So you
Okay.
just go and create your
Light
lighting.
mass. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are using this preset, you're good to go. You don't need to know anything about it. But if you want to know, there are hints other than them. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so the next thing that I wanted to actually the last thing is about dynamic material instances. Oh, okay. So if you want to, let me show you. Where was it? So if you remember, I've created a material instance here. So this is the
Mhm.
material instance. We have access to vector. Actually, um, I just wanna create another scalar parameter to show you. Okay, so right now we have roughness as well, so we can just
Mhm.
change the roughness in real time.
Nice.
This is
Okay.
this is the material instance. What we are going to have right now is right click, blueprint class, actor. This is just for test, so just test.
Mhm.
So we have the option everything. I mean, most of the things that you see all around the engine are actually accessible from the code. So these are accessible from the code. So if you want to, for example, this is actually pretty usable in ArcVid's visualizations. If you have a couch here and if you want to change the color of the couch or
Yeah.
anything, actually anything related to material, to the mesh itself, you will do that in code. So I'm just teaching you how to change a material in the code. So first of all, what we have here, this is the last link that I've sent to you, the
Mhm.
dynamic material instance. Um, so what we're gonna do is to in construction script, so dynamic material instance. So we're going to have a material for it. What was it? And this is the material that we are going to use. Just go here and hit to the parent, because if you have a material instance, you have a parent that if you change the parent, the material instance will change as well. But if you change the material instance, the parent won't change because that's the parent. Um, and the way to do so is just right click on return value, promote to a variable. This is our material. I know that it might be hard, but I'm really sorry for it. So the way I want to do it is, you don't need to really know this stuff. I'm just gonna show
Yeah.
you how it's
Yeah. Yeah.
um so here, and it's a scalar parameter value of, what was the collection? Huh. Okay, so this is a part that I got stuck again. So
Okay.
the way I do that is usually go to um because most of the times, if I get stuck in such an instance. Okay, so the way to do so is, oh,
Can you clarify what is the difference between instance and um, how do you call it then? Main material and is
so
yeah.
the main material is the parent. The material, as I told you, the material does have,
Higher level, lower level, kind
yeah,
of.
the material instance is a child, yeah. and
It's child. Okay.
and as I've shown you, there are some parameters that we have set, that we are able to set, and we can change those parameters in the material instance. For example, we have a base material, we have a parent material,
Mm-hmm.
we have 10 instances from it, and all the instances are different, and they are set, they
Okay.
are used in different meshes.
So if I change the parent material, all the instances will change accordingly due to the that change.
Exactly,
I have
exactly,
one parent, 10 instances. I change one instance, it will change just one out of 10. I change instead the parent, they will change all 10 of them instances.
exactly. That's it.
Okay. Now it's clear to me. Yeah. So it's a
Um,
three uh, way of thinking the different copies as they were child materials, so-called instances. Okay.
so as I had told you, we have access to this is what we called roughness. So we can
Yes.
copy and paste it here. We have a parameter name. Oh no,
Mhm.
parameter name was rough. Oh, I actually misspelled it. Yeah, this is how I spelled it, I guess. Okay. Uh, let me just put something together real quick. So this is why.
Yeah.
I hope it works. So if I believe what was it? Instance is no, it's not this one. Okay. So if so as I told you about the actor that Epic Games has created this actor for us, for you, for Revit users, when you created some actor, you can just drag and drop them into the scene. Or if the actor contains a mesh or anything like that, you have to be careful about its position. You have to set the position accordingly. So the actor that I've just created is just
Yeah.
going to change this parameter that I have set here,
Hmm.
and it will change the roughness, the glossiness, one time to 0 and then one time to 1, and it will repeat itself every second. So let's see if it works.
Dynamically.
Yeah, exactly. I accessed to it through the code. So we have the option, if we want to use the world, not the character itself, we have the option to, if you come here, we have the option to simulate the game.
Yeah.
So we can that way understand that our code isn't working.
Oh, okay. But we will then send this info corrected on the links of the video. We'll send
Um,
shareable shareable links that
exactly,
they will be able to, the listeners and viewers will be able to download therefrom.
exactly. So we have another option to,
Of
okay,
course, here there is
if
a constraint.
yeah, this is just for debug. If you don't know where the problem is existing, you have the option to call print screen. This is what
Print
uh,
string.
yeah, exactly. It prints pretty much everything to the scene. If you want a location, if you want a value, if you want,
Hmm.
I don't know, anything pretty much, you can have them use in your scene. Um, let me see. Oh, it's because this is changing. So let's see. So yeah, if you see, it's not that visible.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not visible on the screen at all. So what it does is that it constantly changing the roughness that we have set in the material, and we can have access to it through the code. and change that directly. So it will be, we can put some UI to it. We can add some UI to it as well. For example, like you can have a color picker. There's a plugin for that. It's literally called color picker, and you can
Mhm.
just try to switch the color using that, and uh, change all the values of colors of all the materials that you have. You have that option as well. So this is,
Okay.
yeah, this is what it's called, dynamic material instances, which I did a really bad job at showcasing it. I'm sorry for that, but it's really
Of
complicated.
course.
It's not something that you can put together in like
And
two.
what's the usage of dynamic materials? I mean, the to simulate the water, the
No,
water
no,
or
no,
changing.
not the water. As I told you, for example, consider it this way: you have a couch, you have a floor, um, you have you have a couch which is red, and you want the user to have the ability to change the color in the couch. So one of the options that you can use in dynamic material instancing is in Unreal Engine is dynamic material instancing, whereas um, you can give the user to have the option to choose between all the colors that they want. So for
Create
example,
a setup. Create a setup for a showroom. Let's say something like
exactly.
this. Okay.
So they can choose yellow, they can choose black, they can choose white, whatever they want. We use dynamic material instancing in these circumstances.
Okay. Got it. So, what we recap? We have seen um, landscape again a
Yeah,
bit,
land.
dynamic lighting, lighting in general, these dynamic instances, and the concept of parent and instances material. What have I left out, Morteza?
So collisions,
Collisions.
HDRI, yeah, using
H-
bridge, which is really important. You explained about Google Map meshes.
Beautiful. Yeah. So all these create the basis for the next one. In the next one, what we'll receive?
Okay, in the next one, we'll try to. I mean, the most important thing in ArcView's visualization, if you want it to be interactive, is to be able to change materials and change meshes. Not this type of materials. We will create an actor to change a couch to another couch and then change it back, to change the material on it, maybe change the texture on it, not using dynamic material instancing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, this is it. This is dynamic material instancing. There's nothing else to do it really. You have attached the link as well to the video that explains it
Yeah.
in depth. So there's no need to go through that anymore. Uh, Let me see. And another, and after that, we'll talk a little bit about optimizations, and
Mm-hmm.
we will get into some post processings.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we have to, when everything's done, imagine everything's done, we have to package the whole project. So what packaging means is that when you want to share the project in an exe file with others, that's packaging. So we will try to package in 100% of scenarios. You will get, you'll uh, it's just, it will throw a lot of errors at you, so we will try to debug them together, because to give you the confidence that this is the normal life when you want to create such thing. There will be a lot of errors, there will be a lot of problems that you will have to solve. So we will try to google a little together, we'll try to get familiar with the forums together, a little bit more, and then I will try to explain a little bit about the most simple solutions to get rid of all the errors that we are getting in packaging problems in there are some simple solutions that most of the times work, and if they don't work, we'll just have to Google and see the debug, see the log, because there's an output log there. There are lots of logs and texts that the Unreal Engine gives you when there's an error, and you can go through the logs and you can
Mhm.
see, you can read the logs and see if you could understand it, see what's the problem is. um, and that's it. And when you can successfully package your project, then you have it. You can play it on every device that you want.
Okay. Okay. Good. So see you in a week then.
Exactly. See you in a week.
Thanks
Have a good one.
for yeah, thanks for being here with us and going through all that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me as well.
Bye bye. See you in a short time and see you in a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Bye bye.